victory edition of Titan Table Talk. I'm Matt Sosler. Today we break down football's big win over North Park. The cross-country conference championships take place this weekend. We'll be joined by five-time CCIW Runner of the Week Adrianna Crabtree and head coach Greg Huffaker. We'll also look ahead to the wrestling and swim seasons. But first, as always, we're joined by Titan head football coach Jared Williamson. A dominant win over the Vikings on Saturday. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Excited to be here.
Your initial reactions on a third quarter that was the complete opposite from what held indicator a week ago. Your overall takeaways on the contest?
Yeah, it was a really quick first half because both teams were running the football, or holding on to the football, I should say, for long number of drives and getting to third and fourth down and executing plays there. So that went by pretty quick. I think at the end of the first half, to get that score and that 2-minute drill set up by the big kickoff return was important. They came out pretty good special teams-wise, had a long return, and our defense had a really good stop. Our defense made some adjustments at halftime I thought were really good, both schematically and just different personnel and finding our strengths. And didn't get the first down offensively, but another big special teams play on the fake punt. We're able to get some points on that drive. And I think getting a 2-score lead with their young quarterback and his strength of running the football was important.
When we talked on Friday and then last week on Titan Table Talk as well, you talked about having the special teams be a critical aspect on Saturday, not only with North Park's return game with Jerome and Bogo, but especially with the lack of depth on the offense and the defense, that translating also to the special teams game as well. But Will Naza, you mentioned his big return at the end of the half, also ran 191 yards back to the house. Your takeaways on the third phase and how it helped propel the Titans to a win?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be important going in, and anytime you're playing some young players or players that haven't played a lot during the year, field position is going to be huge. So we had talked about all week about special teams being a really important part of the game and helping swing momentum our way and field position our way. And I think you could come out of that game saying we had more big plays in the kicking game for sure.
Danny Kent came back on the ground, 93 yards, a couple of scores for him, but it wasn't just his play on the field. He was kind of the engine behind that offense, not only in the run game, but also in the pass game and on the sideline as well. How important was he on Saturday, especially after you had to punt the ball away in the first quarter? It seemed like it would be who could hang on to the ball longest would win the game, and every possession counted, but then all of a sudden the offense ignited.
Yeah, Danny, anytime you get one of your captains back, it's important, but Danny's a very steady young man. He's physically tough. He's mentally tough. If he can be out there, he's going to be out there. Any which way, you don't have to worry about that. Even if his reps are limited during the week, he's mentally locked in and ready to go. And not only in the running game but in pass protection, he's just such a vital part of what we're doing, especially with losing his captain, mate, and teammate Jared at the beginning of the season. You know, put more of a load on Danny, and he's done an outstanding job. Even on special teams, he's involved as He's one of our PPs. He was involved, obviously, in kick return game, taking one back for a touchdown this year versus WashU. So he's a really valuable part, and it was great to get him back. And just a physically tough runner, especially around the goal line.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan head football coach Jared Williamson following their win over the North Park Vikings. The defensive line was a next man up mentality on Saturday. They limited the Vikings to 260 yards overall and only 111 on the ground, a unit that truly rose to the task. What did you think on their play?
Yeah, I thought a lot of the young guys really did step up and take advantage of their opportunity. They played hard. They played with energy. I think it was important, again, for us to not necessarily make them one-dimensional, but in the first half of the game, they were very Philadelphia Eagles-ish. They knew they had 4 downs, the type of football they were playing, and so it was important for our defensive line to just really get their feet under them and get used to the tempo of the game and the game plan that was facing us, figuring out what they wanted to do in the first half. And again, those halftime adjustments by our coaches and by our players, I thought was really important defensively.
The halftime adjustments leading to a fantastic third quarter, especially on the one drive, 4th down and short in your own territory. You pull the fake punt card once again. Matt Worthington, even though it was kind of a broken play, they had somebody back, able to drop a dart to Vetter, and that honestly changed the entire tenor of the game.
I have said this multiple times now. I have not seen a better throw from a non-quarterback in my 20-plus years of coaching. We've practiced it. We've executed it in practice, but never with that tight of coverage. And he just was calm. The protection did a good job. We formationally lined up a little different to make sure Vetter was eligible. And I don't want it to also get lost that Luke Vetter's a freshman, and he's doing some pretty big things for us. So that combination there was awesome. It gave us a lot of momentum, and obviously the flea flicker to Vetter the next play, and you go from having to punt to having first and goal, which was a great momentum swing.
And then capping it off with another tight end, Cooper King, getting in the end zone, putting you guys up by a pair of scores. That drive put North Park away, kind of, and also helped you guys really get your rhythm. How did that drive carry into the rest of the game, where it just seemed like the offense was in cruise control?
I thought it helped with our confidence. North Park did a great job of answering that, though, making it one score again. And then our special teams with Will Nas has been awesome in a lot of areas this year, but especially the return game and him getting that quick score to when we did lose a little momentum, we grabbed it right back, and to keep that 2-score lead was important. So I just thought at the end of the day, the second half was a building block for us of confidence, of execution. And just like last week at Milliken, when you're able to stop them multiple times defensively in the fourth quarter, and then you're able to get the ball with 6+ minutes left and run it out, those are two things that we can continue to build on moving forward.
You got Augustana coming up this Saturday. You go from one Viking to another. You guys in Augustana separated by one spot in the CCIW standings. They just fell to North Central. Seems to be a constant where a team goes and plays North Central, and then they draw the Titans. Your initial thoughts on Augustana?
Very talented offense, really good receiving core. They've got a couple move H players that give you problems because they can line up in a 4-wide receiver look and then be in a tight end look. Veteran quarterback, he spins it pretty good. They got a couple tailbacks that do a good job. So in following North Central with the schedule and a handful of games this year, you're able to see your upcoming opponent multiple times because of just the pure scout film, right? So I do think they have a very talented offense and, again, a good veteran quarterback. Defensively, they play hard. They're very scrappy. And it's going to be another CCIW challenge for us. Again, going on the road's not easy. We've got to attack this like we did versus Milliken, versus Carthage, and understand it's going to be a tough environment, a tough game, and we've just got to focus on our execution.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan head football coach Jared Williamson. Coach, before I get your keys to a win over Augustana, I do want to mention, I know you've talked about it a lot, but a big man TD doesn't happen too often. You open the game on a lateral to Mac Brennan scoring. What was that moment like for him? And it's a play that can ignite a sideline, just getting everybody back in rhythm and getting ready to go.
We've had it in since the first game. We've had it in camp. It's a play I've run before. I told some local media it's a play that actually Illinois State ran for a 2-point conversion a few years back at South Dakota. I don't know who ran it about a decade ago, but we saw it and fell in love with it when you have an athletic tackle. It's got to be a lateral, like you said, but you have to get it on the right hash and around the red zone. I thought we would get the right coverage, and so haven't necessarily gotten to that point. I told him this week a couple of those plays, like the reverse pass and that play to Mac, it's in the plan, guys. I know we've carried him over for multiple weeks, and Mac jokingly said, well, when are we going to run it? He's just an unbelievable athlete, and Dermott had to do a good job of getting depth but also throwing it backwards to make it legal. It was a pretty exciting time, like you said. The fake punt, the flea flicker, Mac's score, our defensive stop, there was a lot of plays that really ignited the juice and the energy in the stadium, and that one was exciting to watch Mac get in the end zone because, again, he's a really good athlete. With knee braces, that's pretty hard to do.
Always a good time to see a big man TD, especially to start a game like that, and maybe there's another one in the cards against the Vikings.
Never know.
Is that a key to a Titan victory in Rock Island?
I think a key is continuing to play good special teams. When you play a good team, you win the hidden yardage battle. We believe the hidden yardage, if it's within 100 yards of some one way or another, it's worth 7 points. So win the hidden yardage. We have to make sure and run the football. I thought we got better at running the football this week. Run the football more consistently in different looks. Continue to stop the run. They have some good receivers, though, with a more veteran quarterback. So keep the big plays at a minimum and execute it late in the game in the fourth quarter, and I think we'll be okay.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan head football coach Jared Williamson. The Titans kick off in Rock Island on Saturday. The ball goes in the air at 1 o'clock from Erickson Field. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time. Nathan Frank and Danny Kent join us when we come back. This is Titan Table Talk.
They say every challenge holds an opportunity. At Illinois Wesleyan, you've got the power to seize it. Here you'll find the tools, mentors, and real-world experiences to take on any challenge and become the person you're meant to be. The best college in Illinois for landing a job? You're looking at it.
Tap or click now to start your free application
And break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
We continue our football segment of Titan Table Talk with two stars from Saturday's win over North Park. I'm Matt Sosler. We're joined by running back Danny Kent, defensive back Nate Frank, following the Titans' 49-21 win. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
A dominant win over the Vikings on Saturday, aided by a strong third quarter. Danny, I want to start with you. The first quarter was a little topsy-turvy, able to get a score, but then they were able to get a couple of stops. What was your message to the offense to finally get things going as you moved into the second and third quarter?
Yeah, I'd say we knew what we had to do. We knew what needed to be fixed. It's just executing at our standard. I think we did a good job of that. We knew kind of what they were going to do defensively, so it was just coming out and executing our plays. We knew we had a great game plan going in, just taking care of business.
Nate, your general reactions on the contest?
I think it was a good all-around win. I think all three phases of the ball we made plays. Played good complementary football. Made some good adjustments. So, yeah, good team win.
Nate, 5 tackles and a pass breakup. Danny, 18 attempts, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns on your day. What worked for both of you individually on Saturday to get the big win?
Yeah, I think I just got to shout out the O-line. You know, they came and stepped it up. We had a big emphasis on establishing the run this week, you know, taking pride in it. And I think even at the end of the game when they knew it was coming, we were able to get some movement up front and take care of those down guys, you know, Coach K always says. But, yeah, they did a great job. Tight ends, everyone, receivers blocking down the field as well. So, yeah, I just really want to thank those guys up front.
I think defensively we had a bit of a rough stretch lately, but then this week it was kind of just about keeping it simple, everybody doing their jobs, trusting your teammates, and I think that worked for us really well.
Danny, before your 2 touchdowns, the game started with a big man TD, Mac Brennan getting the ball on a lateral, taking it into the house. I asked Coach Williamson about this play earlier on the show, but I want to get it from a player's perspective, especially as a running back.
Yep.
You're used to carrying the ball. What were your thoughts when you saw him not only catch it, but then travel the yardage into the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have been more happy about that. We've had that plan for quite some time now, so we were glad we finally got to break it out. And I knew if Matt got the ball in his hands, he was going to make it happen, so it was great. I thought they might have had the angle on him, but, you know, he's sneaky athletic. You know, that kid can dunk a basketball, so it was awesome to see for sure.
And then, Nate, going out as a defense after that big score, how much did that fire up the group?
I mean, yeah, that's a huge momentum swing, and after something like that, you know you have the opportunity to kind of keep things rolling, like with a big stop. So, yeah, I mean, plays like that are definitely huge, game changers.
Moving into the second quarter, but then into the second half, you get a stop on 4th down as a defense, and then on the ensuing offensive possession, you're faced with 4th and short, fake punt, flea flicker, touchdown, all within the neighborhood of each other. How did the momentum swing in that third quarter, breaking that game open, even though North Park got it back within 1 score, and then Will Naza slammed the door shut with a kickoff return for a score?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Matt Worthington. He could not have thrown a better pass to Vetter on that fake punt.
Absolutely.
I was pretty upset because the 3rd and 1, we ran power. We didn't get it. I got stood up. And then seeing that, I thought Vetter was blanketed, and then Worthington just drops it in the breadbasket. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I think that shows a lot of growth from last week. Milliken coming out in the second half, obviously we couldn't really manage the momentum very well, and then this week, big plays like that, we were able to kind of put things in our control and just take control of the game.
A lot of people aren't too familiar with what goes behind the scenes in special teams. People know the long snapper, they know the punter, they know the holder and the kicker in that operation when it does occur. As a personal protector, Danny, what goes on in a fake punt from your perspective to get it to work?
Well, we had the one earlier this year to Ryan, and it's really just game planning, coach knowing when to pull it out. Even though that was covered, it still made it work. But yeah, if teams get too aggressive, we have some things up our sleeve that we can counter that with, and I think it's a big show of confidence that coach has in us to go out there and 4th down, we're in our own territory and calling those plays.
Nate, the defense has been banged up a little bit over the last few weeks, especially in the front 7. How big was Saturday's performance, not only limiting them to 21 points, but holding their run game and limiting their total offense as a confidence booster for some of the young guys on this defensive side?
Yeah, absolutely. Injuries, that's part of the game of football. That's going to happen. But yeah, like you said, we've been banged up, and I think Saturday we had a lot of guys do a great job of stepping up into bigger roles. Coach preaches next guy up all the time. Standard can't change, and so yeah, I think that's huge for those guys to see that they're capable of playing at this level, and that they can go out and execute just like anybody else can.
Before we get into Augustana, Jerome Bogo is known as probably one of the fastest guys in the conference, in the country. As a defensive back unit, what was the game plan there to stifle him, also to stop Katron, 2 prolific receivers for the Vikings?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew this was going to be a big challenge for us as a defensive backs unit. But nothing, we're not trying to do anything out of the ordinary, still trusting our technique, playing our game. And we knew that at our best, that was going to be plenty, and that we would be able to take care of them.
Nate Frank and Danny Kent join us on Titan Table Talk as we recap Titan football's win over North Park. We'll now shift gears to this week. Augustana, a team that's neck and neck with the Titans in the standings. They're off to one of their better starts to the year. They just dropped a game to North Central. What are some keys to success against the Vikings for the second week in a row? Different team, but same mascot.
I'd say just sticking to our game plan, our standard. That was a big thing we had to get back to. After Wheaton, we played Milliken, we played well for a while, and then, like you said before, that 3rd quarter, we kind of simmered off, and this week we were able to take care of that, and I think it's having a full, complete week of practice. It starts today when we're lifting and watching film, knowing what we have to do to get better, knowing what standard needs to be upheld, and then just starting off on practice and putting together 4 good days of practice, not just on and off. That was our problems at some point in this year, but just being consistent, holding the standard, and executing at the level we know we can.
I would agree. I think in this conference, you gotta earn every game, and so this week is nothing different. Got to just attack every day with the same approach that you're going into the day, earning a victory on Saturday. Just a good week of prep, and then going out there and executing on Saturday.
Nate Frank and Danny Kent on Titan Table Talk. Coming up next, we shift gears. The cross-country championships in the CCIW are coming up this weekend. Adrianna Crabtree and head coach Greg Huffaker join us on Titan Table Talk at 88.1 WESN and IWsports.com.
At NCAA Championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division III Women's Volleyball Championship, coming to Bloomington, Illinois this December. Get your seats at ncaa.com/tickets.
Titan Table Talk rolls on. We just broke down Titan football's victory over North Park. We now move on to postseason action. I'm Matt Sosler, joined by head cross-country coach Greg Huffaker and Adrianna Crabtree, a 5-time CCIW Women's Cross-Country Runner of the Week this year. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Coach Huff, I'll start with you. Reflect on what has been a very successful season for you all heading into the postseason.
Yeah, it's been a great season so far. We talked from day one about our goals always revolve around November, the conference championship, the regional championship, and so as a team, we're physically and mentally preparing for this time of the year. It's great that we finally have fall weather. The team's worked really hard. I've been super pleased with the consistent hard work that we see in practice. Their preparation, each day, they're ready to work hard. They're ready to do what I ask. We've had some great results, but I think that actually we're ready for a lot better performances than we've seen so far on both the men's and women's side. I don't think it's been lack of effort at any of our meets. They've worked really hard, so been a little tired. And so as we start pulling back a little bit here for the championship season, I'm really excited for what I think both the men's and women's team can do this weekend and at the regional championship.
Coach, before I get to Adriana's take on the success, you mentioned the later delay in getting fall-like weather. How does that impact your training and the progression of a season, considering you were dealing with weather in the 70s in mid-October?
Yeah, probably through a lot of September, our hard workouts were at 5:45 or 6 a.m. And so that's a big ask for collegiate athletes, right? I'm asking them to get 8 hours of sleep a night if they can. So they're really challenged to use their free time during the day so they can get to bed and be ready for those workouts. We got a little tired towards the end of September for sure, but they did a great job of being ready to work hard early in the morning. So that was a bigger curveball than we've had. We've done that occasionally throughout the years, but we did it pretty consistently this year because of how warm it was through September. We're hoping that temperatures are like this in late October and early November. So I always tell them we don't need to acclimate to the really hot weather. We need to adjust around it. And so those early morning practices were something that we did, but they were always locked in and ready to work hard, even when it was early and sometimes dark in the morning. So they did a fantastic job. Really proud of the efforts that they put in and the way that they prepared themselves to get the sleep and work hard. So a little different, just so we could work under cooler conditions to go early.
Adrianna, I'll tee it up to 5-time Runner of the Week. You're having another classic Adrianna Crabtree season. Your takeaways on the year so far?
It's been really good so far. I think the team has come together. We've got a lot of freshmen this year on the girls' side, so it's been a lot of fun getting to know each other, all the team bonding stuff. And then running has been going well too. I feel like we've had success, and I feel like it'll all show at conference. I think our girls are capable of a lot, and our guys' side too. But yeah.
What has contributed to that success? We'll start with you, Adrianna, and then go to Coach.
A lot of it is Coach Huff. He's been great. And just also, I think the positivity on the team, everyone is just super encouraging. And so when it comes to those hard workouts, it's not like the doubt of, I don't know, I can do this. It's like, you can do it, and like your team is here to cheer for you and encourage you. So that's I think what makes it a lot easier. And the success has come through that, but I'd say it's definitely has to do with the training and just the overall team dynamic.
One of the things that makes coaching so fun is that each athlete has a different journey. Adrianna played basketball and soccer in high school. I think admittedly she would say she didn't love cross country. It was her third favorite of the 3 sports that she did. And so her training age was a little different when we started, and we tried to not do too much to get hurt early on. She had the injury as a sophomore, but she put in a great summer this summer and really set herself up to do some special things this year. A year ago, I had Nick Fish and Ernie Watterson, who were amazing athletes for us. They were runners. They soaked up everything. They read everything. They were students of the sport. Adrianna is an amazing competitor, but probably not as in tune, with the history of the sport. I think she's grown in those areas every year. But as a coach, it's fun because Nick and Ernie are bringing questions about training and things they'd love to try. But what's fun about Adrianna is she just trusts. Like if I put a workout in front of her, she's like, that's the best workout for me, and she just goes and crushes it. And so both are fun as a coach because you want athletes pushing the edge and asking questions, but it's also amazing to have athletes that just have 100% trust in what you say. And it's part of what makes my job so fun is the different journeys of different athletes. But she put a lot of steps in for her job this summer, and then put in the most miles she's ever put in. And the results show. She's worked hard. She's earned the right to compete for another CCIW title in cross country, to I think be a high All-American in cross country this year. She's worked for it. She's earned it.
Matt Sosler alongside head coach Greg Huffaker and Adrianna Crabtree of the Titan women's cross country team. You mentioned the training and the success and the work that Adrianna's put in. Adrianna, you won pre-nationals earlier this season. I talked with Seth Hammersky and Abby Quinn on an earlier edition of the show, and they preached on how pre-nationals was so important because it mirrored a postseason atmosphere and a postseason course. Does that build your confidence heading in to the postseason, knowing that you won a big meet that resembles a playoff atmosphere?
I'd say for sure. I think the confidence that comes from performing well, it all builds, and so having that confidence going in that I was able to compete at a high level, I think definitely helped me, and also mostly knowing the course, being familiar with it, where I know like that's an advantage over a lot of other teams that weren't able to get out there. So I know I've done it once, so hopefully it'll all come back to me and I'll be able to remember where it gets hard and work through it a little bit better come postseason.
And Coach, having your team go to pre-nationals, how important is that as a group to get that competition in early in the season now that the meets count to live another week?
Yeah, it matters. I think, 2 years ago, Adrianna and Annalise both qualified for the national championship in Pennsylvania. We elected not to go out there. The course was really challenging, and I really feel like I could have helped them be more successful at the national championship had we seen that course earlier in the year. So this year, I didn't want to make that mistake again. We were able to semi-affordably get out there. But I think it's a great team bonding trip as well, to get on a plane, to, then fly and get rental cars, get to the hotel. And it's all part of what a championship meet is like, right? Like you have to travel, you have to manage all of those aspects, not just show up and run. And so those things, I think, all factor into the confidence to know that you can be ready to perform at a big meet when it matters. And so we weren't super concerned with our times when we were out there because we wanted the whole experience to help them be ready to compete at their best when we need them to be ready to compete at the best. So it's a great cross-country course. It'll be interesting hosting a national championship. It was a little narrow as the field is large and a lot of parity in it for the national meet. But I think those experiences really matter to get them confident to perform when it matters.
And it starts with the conference tournament this weekend at Augustana. But before we dive inside the course and the competition, Adrianna, I wanted to talk about your family ties to Illinois Wesleyan. Your father, Brian, a stalwart on the men's basketball team, won a national title. Your mom, Jenna, also played basketball here at IWU. What does that mean to you to continue a Crabtree legacy at Illinois Wesleyan, and hopefully we'll be adding your name to a potential national championship list for the green and white in a couple weeks?
Yeah, it's actually funny. I was talking to my parents about it last night, just like how much I like Wesleyan and how kind of nostalgic it is for me to be at Wesleyan games and just experience all of it. So just from growing up here in town, I went to all the basketball games. So it's when I hear the Titan band play, it's more than just a band. It's back to when I was 5 years old and in my little cheerleading uniform at these basketball games. But I think overall, it's just fun to add to it. I think it's kind of a cool experience and unique that my parents had success here and I'm here as well. So I don't know, something that I like to touch on.
Maybe we need a side-by-side picture for the when it airs. A picture of 5-year-old Adrianna in cheerleading uniform.
Yeah, no, I have some pictures of me when I was young in Wesleyan years. So
I'm sure we could do the research and find it fairly easily.
Yeah.
The information age, the day and technology, it shouldn't be too hard.
I definitely
Come
have
on.
one. So
Would you be willing to provide?
yeah, I'd provide it.
Should add that. No, producer's note for Tyler Wilson to add that picture on the overlay when this is all said and done. But it all starts, a run to a championship begins with the conference meet. Teams that you've seen before, whether it be last year, over the course of this season. Coach, we'll start with you. Your goals for this weekend?
Yeah, well, we've been runner-up 2 years in a row on the ladies' side. So we'd like to try to bring home a CCIW championship. We were just at Augustana 2 weeks ago, so of course it's fresh in our mind. It looks like better cross-country conditions than 2 weeks ago. It's a little warm still. The men's side, I think that we have an opportunity to place higher than we have the last several years. So yeah, we're just looking for great performances. People show up, compete to the best of their ability. I think, Adrianna has a great chance to win. We've talked about some bigger goals than that as well. So I think that, mostly what we are looking for is to translate what we've seen in practice to the race course. We've seen lots of really, really good practices. I think team confidence is high. So we're just looking to translate that practice performance and confidence into the race and hopefully have some great results because they've done such an amazing job. I've been so proud of the efforts that we've had this year. I just want them to see what they've worked for at the conference championship.
Adrianna, what's it going to take to be successful in Rock Island?
I really have a lot of confidence on our team. I think that we perform our best at conference every year, historically, I think. And I think the girls are ready, and I just think when we go out there, everyone knows the importance of it, but also that no matter how you perform, it's not going to change how we view each other. And I think that going in is helpful. It's you're out there. It's one of the hardest things you've ever done in a race. It hurts, and you're just I have to do it for my team, and it's not because they're gonna hate you or whatever if you run bad. It's just I want to do this for my team, and I think at conference every year is when we really see that. It all comes together, and we really just run for each other. So I don't know. I'm not really too worried about it. I think it'll come together, and we just believe in each other, and it'll work out.
Postseason for Titan Cross Country begins this weekend. The conference meet at Augustana, regionals a couple weeks later, and then the national championships in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Matt Sosler alongside Titan Cross Country coach Greg Huffaker and Adrianna Crabtree. Guys, thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
We move to the winter season. Coming up next, Titan wrestlers Austin Johnston and Ameer Alamawi join me on Titan Table Talk.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And. Here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Moving on to the winter season on this edition of Titan Table Talk, I'm Matt Sosler. We just heard from Greg Huffaker and Adrianna Crabtree of the Titan women's cross country team. We now talk wrestling. I'm joined by sophomore Ameer Alamawi and junior Austin Johnston. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us on.
We're nearing competition. The women start this Saturday up at Stevens Point. You guys have another week to prepare. The 8th at the Milliken Open. What has this offseason been like for both of you getting ready for what should be a new and improved year of Titan wrestling?
Yeah, for me, it's just been a lot of rehab and focus on making sure that my body's ready to come back strong this year. I missed out on the last portion of the season last year due to a knee injury. And so just making sure my body's ready to come back and attack this season and be here for the full length of it.
For me, it's just focusing in and working on those fine-tuned small details, because whenever you get towards postseason and all that, I know it's far away, but those small things are what's going to matter most. If you can stay on top, ride a guy out, keep your elbows in whenever you're fighting hands, all those small things are just what's really important. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on a lot.
The coaching staff has hit the recruiting trail hard. Big freshman class on the men's side this year. What's it been like having the new guys around as second-year and third-year wrestlers?
It's been super exciting to see us continue to grow and bring in more and more high-caliber wrestlers every year and kind of keep molding them into hard workers and becoming true Titan athletes of what we bring to the table and the culture that we're building as an organization.
Yeah, going off of that, it's awesome having more guys in the room. Everybody, I know I touched on this quite a few times last year, but every single person has a different technique, different style, so the more guys that we're getting in there, the more feels we're getting. Just kind of correlates towards actual competitions. You're not going to wrestle the guy that's in the practice room all the time, but you can get a different guy who feels different, who might be similar to who you wrestle at, the Millikan Open, which is coming up. So it's most definitely a change, and it helps with the team aspects and just preparing every individual person for the competitions.
What do the first couple weeks of in-season practices look like as you get ready for the regular season?
This year we're a little bit different, obviously having a lot of women. So practice times for us are early mornings, which allows us to have, a little bit of lifting in the afternoon. People get in on their own time, but focusing on small details, technique, going live a couple days of the week, sparring, kind of like just a mix of a little bit of everything. We're getting close to the first competition, so coach is really wanting us to perform well and get out there and get after it. So.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of touched on everything, kind of just mixing it all together between fine-tuning technique of what it looks like at the college level for a lot of those younger guys to making sure that we have the conditioning aspect ready to roll for a full 7 minutes and more if needed.
Ameer Alamawi and Austin Johnston of the Titan wrestling team joins us on Titan Table Talk. We just talked about the freshmen, the first couple weeks of practice, but diving into the season, you had one home duel last year. It was against Millikan this year. That's going to quadruple on the men's side. What are you most looking forward to, not only having just one meet at home, but 4 as the year goes on?
I'm looking forward to getting a packed house. If we could fill up that Shirk Center, that environment, it's great. I love seeing it in volleyball and basketball and all those other sports, but really bringing it back into wrestling, and I feel like we have such an exciting sport, and then once people show up to that first meet and watch us roll and scrap out there in the environment between the walkout songs and being out there one-on-one just against another guy, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah, kind of building off what he said, it's pretty awesome, and it'll be different from going from just 1 to 4. But yeah, just getting a packed house is something that we've been wanting. Other than that, it'll most definitely allow us to get wrestling out there. There's still some people on campus who have no idea that we even have a wrestling program, just because we are still in the startup phase. But yeah, just having more of the home duels is something that a lot of us have been wanting. And so this year it's a little bit different. We're not giving up weight classes. We're not giving up forfeits or anything like that. So it's going to be a lot more competitive, and a lot of the incoming freshmen that are filling those spots, they're all there with us mentally. They want to beat everybody as much as they possibly can. They want to be the best. So I think it'll be a lot more competitive and a lot more entertaining. So, yeah.
What's your pitch to people on campus to come out to a home meet?
Give it a shot, make some time, give it a shot. You guys, everybody shows up for one another. That's just something that, we have as a sports culture on Illinois Wesleyan's campus. And with wrestling becoming bigger and bigger, it'd just be pretty cool for them to show up. Last year we had some guys show up, some of the lacrosse guys, and some other, frat guys, some friends of people who are wrestlers, but other than that, just give it a shot, see what it's like, witness it, experience it, see if you enjoy it. So.
Yeah, I think kind of just to piggyback off Austin there, just come support your school, support your community, see what we bring to the table as a completely different sport to all the other ones on campus. They're quick 7-minute matches. Come on out. If the first 2 matches don't intrigue you, there you go. But I'm pretty confident that, like, with the guys we have in our room, that we compete hard, and our styles of wrestling are pretty unique to show up and get after it and put on a pretty entertaining show.
I think the 125 and the 133 is going to be pretty entertaining. I think people are going to want to stay at the Shark for the higher weight classes and the match rolls along. You've seen this program grow, Ameer, over the last year and change, Austin over the last couple of years, and into this year. Still in a development stage, if you would, but the growth has been exponential. What's that been like from your own 2 eyes?
I can start.
You go for it. Go for it.
You know, it's been huge change. I mean, everyone talks about, like, oh, like, wait until you guys are on campus, wait until this, wait until that. I think that this season is going to be us exiting that developmental stage. I feel like we got a lot of guys with the right attitudes, the right work ethics, where we're out there to compete, and we're here to compete right now, not waiting for this or waiting for that. We're here, we're ready, we're working just as hard, if not harder than everyone else in the conference, and we're ready to show up and earn some medals.
Yeah, so, I mean, piggybacking off of that, I mean, I was here from the very beginning, and so, I mean, some of the guys were bought in, some of the guys were already here on campus. You know, they were here for education, not wrestling, so they kind of just joined, and they're great guys, but kind of like how Ameer just said, some of them, like a lot of these incoming freshmen this year, you know, they get the right mindset. You talk to them, more than half of them want to stay on campus in the summer, get after it, you know. Everybody else in the country showing up for that one practice a day in season. But not many people want to sit there and stay on their college campus over the summer just to wrestle. So, I mean, the growth has been exponential, and I think that we're getting the right guys in the room. So, mentally, physically, all around. So,
what are some of your goals from a personal standpoint for the upcoming year?
I want to become a conference finalist and a Division III national tournament qualifier.
I think my goal is just to kind of the same every year. Do the best that I can do, control what I can control. Obviously, placing in CCIW, it's a huge thing. You know, I want to be the champ there. I want to be a regional champ, All-American. So, I mean, other than that, nothing much has changed for my goals-wise besides putting in as much effort as I can.
Austin Johnston and Ameer Alamawi on this edition of Titan Table Talk. Up next, we talk some swim and dive. Head coach Dan Lloyd joins me and you on this edition of Titan Table Talk.
When competition for the best jobs is fierce, how do you set yourself apart? Experience? An education? Yes, but not just any education. At Illinois Wesleyan, we prepare graduates who break through the noise, who run the boardroom, the classroom, the lab, the stage. The best college for jobs in Illinois is right in your own backyard. Reach further, dream bigger, and break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
We wrap up the show on Titan Table Talk. We just heard from wrestlers Ameer Alamawi and Austin Johnston. I'm Matt Sosler. Joining me as we conclude this edition, head swim and dive coach Dan Lloyd, entering his first year with the program, coming home to Bloomington Normal. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You just completed the Halloween invite. We'll go through the off-season and this whole process later on, but what was your thoughts on the invite, getting 7 first-place finishes?
I think it was an incredible step for our program. The pool is in the first phases of being redone. It looks like a brand-new pool. It's a brand-new program. I think our kids took great pride in representing Illinois Wesleyan, which needs to happen, and it was an incredible step forward for our kids to see kind of where they're at and kind of moving forward in this journey.
You began on May 1st, an overhaul in the off season. What has that process been like for you?
I'm used to it. I've gone into a lot of programs that need to be rebuilt. I think the incredible part of Illinois Wesleyan is the commitment to excellence that we have and the resources that we have that we're giving our student athletes. And first and foremost, the culture that we want to create here is we want to have great people, and we want to not focus on the student athlete. We want to focus on the person. And that's really what we want to do from day one, is coming in and creating a culture where our students feel valued as people first, then as students, then as athletes. And our kids have embraced that culture. They love that culture. They love what we've tried to instill and where we're going. And I'm just so proud of our kids. I can't begin. I told them before the meet on Saturday, I said, I love you guys because you guys believe in Illinois Wesleyan, you believe in this program, and you believe in the fact of where we're going. Some of those kids on that program will never see the end of it in terms of where it's going because they're going to graduate, but they're committed to the fact that they take pride in representing this program with great integrity.
You come home after 11 years at Augustana. You won 6 conference championships, 5-time CCIW Coach of the Year. I know family and all that was a big motivating factor to bring you back to Central Illinois.
Yeah, so as I told people, first and foremost, I'm a dad. I was driving about 2,800 miles a month back and forth from Bloomington. My parents are in their 80s. My son, he has 4 years left. He's at normal community now. I want to be a part of his life. And I think the biggest thing is to walk away. It was really, really hard. To something that you built. Obviously, great relationships with the people at Augustana, great relationships with the kids there. But everybody understood the fact that for me, family and faith comes first. And for me, I wanted to invest even more. And my son's involved in marching band here, and it's been great to be able to go to the Friday night football games and see him go to the band competitions. And I really am blessed by the fact that Illinois Wesleyan invests heavily. Mike Wagner and Kim Nelson-Brown have been just great in terms of saying, you're a dad, like you need to, your family comes first, and we respect that and we want to support that. And that's been incredible here to have that support of saying, to be a great coach, you need to be a great father first, and you need to, your family comes first. And we want our kids to see that. And I think that's been an incredible situation here at Wesleyan, to see the fact that we've invested so much in family, and it is a family here. And that's been the greatest part that I've seen from our athletic department, is this entire athletic department. I can't thank them enough. All the coaches have been so supportive of the rebuild here, and they're like, whatever we can do to help you, however we can support you. Just the pats on the back as you walk through the hallway of like, hey, you got this, like we're here in your corner. That's just been a phenomenal situation for us.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan Swim and Dive head coach Dan Lloyd. Coach, it's a new era of Titan Swim and Dive. I'll let you give your pitch to the outside world of what is new with this era of Titan Swimming.
I think the biggest piece is that we're focusing on the student athlete as a whole, and we're focused on the person first, and we want to build a great culture. That culture starts with how kids are excited to come to practice. Kids are excited to be a part of this. They know that we're in their corner. We focus on quality. We focus on great balance within the student athlete experience. Our program is unlike a lot of others across the country. We focus on quality within training. But our big thing is integrity. Representing this school with integrity, representing yourself, your family, and this community. And I think the biggest thing that the kids would see if they came here is that they're going to get better individualized attention and really focused in on not creating. A lot of programs have created a situation where we're going for the masses. So we're looking at huge rosters. And what ends up happening in that situation is you kind of, your top and bottom kind of both don't get served very well because you don't have the resources to really invest in everybody. Here, we've really invested heavily in each individual person. And I think what we would see is the fact that we will be advocates for them for the rest of their lives. This process is a 4-year process, but it's springboarding them for the rest of their lives. And what we really care about is the fact that, yes, we want them to swim well, but we want them to understand that board, whatever it says at the end of the day in terms of the time, that's not the defining piece of who they are. It goes way beyond that. And I think that we're bringing in great kids. And I think people are really, really excited about the fact that we've partnered so well with a university who now, with our new president, has an invested interest in athletics, understands that at a small college, both can work simultaneously. And I've seen that across campus, that our academic side is very supportive of athletic side. And I would consider us one of the premier academic programs in the country in terms of where we stand athletically, in terms of an athletic department that values the student-athlete experience.
Titan Swim and Dive head coach Dan Lloyd is here on this edition of Titan Table Talk. Coach, you bring in one of your former swimmers, Brooke Walker, as an assistant coach. What does she bring to this program?
Well, Brooke grew up in this area, which is a huge benefit. She understands the CCIW. She understands this area. This community is a tight-knit community, the swimming community as well. But she understands the culture and the vision that we want to create. And I think the other piece is she's a great advocate for our kids. They know that they can go to her. And she's had great success. And I think the benefit that she brings is she has a very much a great organization. She works very well with me, and I've just been very blessed to have Brooke here because she's very excited about having this be her start to her coaching career. I also think that, you know, having the ability to understand the CCIW is a huge thing, and so she gets the fact that something special can be built. When we got to Augustana, she was the part of that culture that built that. And I think that's really important to have that experience.
You mentioned support. That's been a critical word over this interview, both from in school, in athletics, with your family as well. You talk about you being able to support others, but over your time here so far, what has the support been like for you?
I've just been blown away in terms of the fact of where the vision is for swimming and diving here. What we've already changed in the pool has been big. Where we're going, we're not all the way there yet. We would like to include windows into the pool, get natural light in there. I'm big into mental health. That pool was built in 1987. It's starting to look like a brand new pool. That's a huge piece just to say, we've invested in this. We care about this. I think the president has been, I remember when he called me and talked to me about the position, and he told me, we believe in you. We will do what we need to support this program and to bring it to where it needs to be. Our kids feel valued, and I think that's the biggest piece moving forward is that the things that we've been able to do and show them and say, listen, like, you're an athlete, you're representing the school, we're going to take care of you. And by taking care of you, we know that you're going to give your best for this program. You know, I've been very blessed throughout my career to have great mentors. One was John Leaderhouse at Wheaton College, Hall of Fame, Division III coach. He actually was here this past weekend for this meet, which meant a lot. And he was here to support Wesleyan. He actually came down and was our meet manager for this meet, which was great. And, you know, John said the culture has changed. You can tell that already. You've changed the culture. And then, you know, I mentored under Dave Durden at Cal Berkeley. And I think our program very much mimics Cal in the way that we've structured our program in terms of a high academic school that's matching that with athletics. And our kids see that in terms of the times that we had this weekend were incredible. We had people going lifetime best times already the first meet of the year. We had people who were like, I can't believe I'm seeded with this time. I'm not going to go that time, went and blew that out of the water. And I think it starts with the fact that our athletic department believes in integrity. And I think that's the biggest piece that I had when I came here and I interviewed, was I saw the fact that there's a way that as you look across this athletic department, we have had success at all levels. It's not like we're trying to come here and create something for the first time ever in an athletic department that has not seen success. There's a reason why it has been successful. I believe it can happen here in swimming. When I went to Augustana College, and I'll never forget interviewing there, they told me two things. They said, you're never going to win a title here. It's going to be impossible, and we're never going to build a new pool. And one thing that I've told people, and I told Mike Wagner this when I interviewed here, is you tell me something's impossible, and I'm going to find a way to make it happen. And that's our commitment to our kids right now, is the fact that we're going to find a way to make this happen and bring Illinois Wesleyan to where it needs to be.
You've been here 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
So if this question doesn't have a finite answer, it's totally good. But what's the ceiling of this program?
What's the ceiling?
Yeah, based on what you've seen over the last half a year.
You know, I think it's going to take some time. I mean, I don't like to put an expectation on where we're kind of going. I mean, obviously, we're building towards a championship is what we want to do. It's going to take some time. I mean, we are small, and I like to tell, I told our kids in our first team meeting, one of my favorite stories in the Bible is David versus Goliath. And what can be accomplished by something small can be accomplished pretty great. I'm a man with my faith, and I prayed a lot about this decision to come here. I pray that God was leading me to this decision to come here, and that I think God's got big plans for Illinois Wesleyan and for what we can accomplish here. That might not just be winning. That may be changing lives. That may be impacting lives. That may be impacting this community. That may be changing a student who goes on to do amazing things. That to me is success. As I've told kids before, the accolades in terms of winning a conference title or what winning or this time or going to best time, that's fleeting. What is the most important in your life is the legacy you leave in terms of how you live your life and the way that you impact others' lives. That's what I see as the success that can be built here, and that's why I came here, and that's why I felt like that God was like leading me to come here, because I felt like something incredible could be developed here.
Wise words from Titan head swim and dive coach Dan Lloyd. Coach, before I let you go, what are you most excited for in year one at the helm of the Titans?
I'm excited to see what lives are going to be changed in terms of as we recruit. We had a great recruiting weekend a couple weeks ago, and I love meeting recruits because you never know how that meeting is going to impact their lives. Every time we go into those meetings, I pray that day of like, how is this conversation going to impact this young person's life? They may never come here, but our words could help guide them to where they need to be. And I'm excited to see what people are going to come to this program. So far, being on the recruiting trail, I've met some incredible people who are like, I've never heard of Illinois Wesleyan, and now I'm blown away by Illinois Wesleyan. And I think that the other thing I'm really excited about is to see our president's vision for this university moving forward. I love the fact that he is where his thinking is in terms of how we're going to build this community and what we're going to be able to do with partnering with Bloomington Normal. I think that we stand firm in terms of the fact that our commitment to Bloomington Normal has been a great partnership, and also our alumni base is something I've never seen before. This alumni base is passionate about their time at Illinois Wesleyan, and I think that says something about how impactful it was during here. And I'm excited to see how we partner with that and keep that moving forward.
One more follow-up for you.
Yeah.
You're from Bloomington Normal.
Yeah.
Swim and dive, like every other sport here at Illinois Wesleyan, community is a key aspect of it. What's it going to be like having that community relationship in your hometown with a predominant institution in Bloomington Normal?
It's interesting how your life goes full circle. So I remember when Fortin Auditorium was being built, and I actually went there when it was being built, and somebody took a picture of me on the high dive. I actually swam the first major meet that summer in that pool, and actually won the overall swimming high point award. So, and then in high school, we actually trained here. We didn't have pools in the high schools, so we actually trained here at 5 a.m. And then in college, we actually swam CCIW championships here, and I had a pool record. So your life really goes full circle. If you would have told me when I was 8 years old that I'd now be the coach at Illinois Wesleyan, I'd be blown away. But it's been great to come home. It's great to have the relationships with the people in the swimming community. The swimming community is a tight-knit community. And the support that I've seen of just saying, we're here, we're going to stand with you, we're going to build this with you, we believe in you, we believe in this program. It's been incredible to see that support. And when I was announced as the new coach, the number of people that reached out to me said, we would stand beside you and help you build this. Our relationship with the master's program has been incredible. That's something that we wanted to keep going and make sure that we were partnering with them. They came and timed our meet. The master swimmers have been very supportive of what we're trying to do, been very appreciative of it. So realistically, standing beside us through this, we're all going to be stronger as we move together. So
Matt Sosler alongside Dan Lloyd, a full circle moment for the new head coach of Titans Swim and Dive. Dan, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Conference championship weekend for men's and women's soccer, along with the Titan cross country teams. Join us next week on Titan Table Talk as we break down that. We'll also recap a critical football contest at Augustana. My thanks to all our guests, our entire athletic communications staff, and our producer Tyler Wilson. I'm Matt Sosler. We'll catch you next time on Titan Table Talk.